Today we're going to find percent of change. And when we're looking for percent of change, we're going to use a formula. And it's a very simple formula. It's new minus the old over the old. And then we're going to times it by 100. And the reason we times it by 100 is we want it to come out to the percent. So we're going to end up changing a decimal to a percent at the end. All right, Brian weighed 225 pounds at the beginning of the school year. 5 months later, he weighed 180 pounds. Find the percent of change. Well, remember I said it's new minus the old over the old times 100. So the new, well, which is newer? At the beginning of the year or 5 months later? 5 months later, that's right. So you do 180 minus 225 over 225 and times it by 100. So you should get 45 over 225 times 100. And that should be a negative 45 because 180 minus 225 is negative 45. Now, do a little calculating there. You should get negative 20%. And what does that 20% mean? It means that Brian lost 20% of his weight, or his weight decreased by 20%. All right, so let's look at this. In 1978, the population of Kearney, Missouri was 978 people. By 2014, the population had increased to 1412. Find the percent of change to the nearest tenth of a percent. So it's 1412, because that's the newest number, minus the old number, which was 978, divided by 978 times 100. Well, you end up with like 434 divided by 978 times 100. And this time, we get a positive 44.4%. Remember the problem said, round to the nearest tenth. So what does that mean? That means that the population of Kearney increased by 44.4%. So really, it's just a formula. New minus the old over the old times 100. And when you do that, you find out the percent of increase if it's positive, or the percent of decrease if it's negative. What's the hardest part about doing these? Figuring out which number's the new one, which number's the old one.